Have you ever noticed that your mind does not stop even when your body is resting? You may be sitting quietly, but inside, thoughts keep running. Business worries, family responsibilities, phone notifications, future tension, past mistakes. This is the modern epidemic of mental noise. Ancient rishis observed this same problem thousands of years ago. They saw that the human mind is powerful, but also restless. It keeps jumping from one thought to another, like a monkey moving from branch to branch. Today, we try to control the mind with productivity apps, motivational videos, and digital reminders. But the rishis discovered something much deeper. Sound could become a tool to discipline the mind. A mantra is not just a religious chant. It is a repeated sound pattern that gives the mind one clear direction. Just like a password unlocks your phone, a mantra can unlock inner silence. So ask yourself, if your mind repeats worry every day, what would happen if you trained it to repeat peace?
When we hear the word rishi, many people imagine an old sage sitting in the forest. But the rishis were not just spiritual people. They were deep observers of consciousness. They studied the mind from inside. Modern scientists use microscopes to study cells and telescopes to study galaxies, but the rishis used meditation to study thoughts, emotions, fear, desire, memory, and awareness. They asked very practical questions. Why does anger rise? Why does fear stay? Why does the mind repeat the same worry again and again? Why is peace so difficult even when everything outside looks fine? Think about daily life. Sometimes you are driving and suddenly one old memory comes back. Your mood changes instantly. Nothing happened outside, but inside, the mind created a full emotional storm. The rishis understood this deeply. They realized that the mind can become either a prison or a doorway. Mantra was one of their methods to open that doorway. They did not run away from the mind. They studied it, trained it, and transformed it. The ancient Indian idea of Shabda Brahman means that sound is not ordinary. Sound is connected with creation, vibration, and consciousness. Even in daily life, we know sound changes our state. A harsh word can disturb us for the whole day. A mother's gentle voice can calm a crying child. A favorite song can change our mood within seconds. A temple bell, a church bell, or peaceful music can make the environment feel sacred. So sound is not only heard by the ears, it is felt by the body and absorbed by the mind. The rishis observed that different sounds create different effects. Some sounds agitate the mind. Some sounds settle the mind. Some sounds bring focus. Some sounds create devotion. That is why they did not treat mantra casually. A mantra was seen as a carefully shaped sound formula. In modern language, you can say, mantra gives the mind a stable frequency. When the mind is scattered, mantra brings it back to rhythm.
The word mantra itself gives us the secret. Man refers to the mind, and tra means tool, instrument, or protection. So mantra means a tool for the mind or a protection for the mind. Now think about your daily life. Your mind is always receiving inputs. WhatsApp messages, YouTube shorts, arguments, news, financial pressure, comparison, fear, desire. Every input leaves an impression. If we do not protect the mind, it becomes like an open road where every thought can enter. Mantra works like a gatekeeper. When you repeat a mantra, you are telling your mind, stay here. Do not run everywhere. This is not suppression. This is direction. For example, when a child is restless, we give the child one activity, drawing, counting, singing, or playing with blocks. Slowly, the child becomes focused. The mantra does something similar for the inner child of the mind. It gives the mind one sacred activity, one rhythm, one anchor.
Ordinary words carry personal memories. If someone says failure, your mind may remember an old mistake. If someone says money, your mind may start calculating tension. If someone says a person's name, emotions may immediately rise. This is because ordinary language is connected with memory, ego, desire, and reaction. But a mantra works differently. A mantra is not used mainly for discussion. It is used for rhythm, vibration, repetition, and inner focus. For example, if you repeat your problems again and again, I am stressed, I am late, I am unlucky, your mind becomes heavier. But if you repeat a calming mantra with breath, the mind slowly receives a different instruction. This is why the Rishis used sacred sound instead of ordinary mental chatter. They understood that the mind becomes what it repeats. So, the real question is, what are you repeating every day without knowing it? Worry, anger, fear, or awareness, devotion, and peace? Mantra replaces unconscious repetition with conscious repetition.
Repetition is one of the most powerful forces in human life. What you repeat becomes familiar. What becomes familiar becomes natural. And what becomes natural becomes your personality. Think about learning to drive. In the beginning, clutch, brake, gear, mirror, everything feels difficult. But after repetition, the body learns. You do it without thinking. The same happens with the mind. If you repeat anxiety daily, anxiety becomes automatic. If you repeat anger daily, anger becomes your default reaction. But if you repeat a mantra daily, calmness also starts becoming familiar. This is why the Rishis practice japa, the repeated chanting of mantra. Japa is not mindless repetition. It is mental training. Every time the mind runs away and you bring it back to the mantra, you are strengthening attention. It is like going to the gym. One repetition does not build the body, but daily repetition changes the body. In the same way, daily mantra repetition changes the inner pattern of the mind. The Rishis understood something very practical. The mind and breath are connected. When you are angry, your breath becomes fast. When you are afraid, your breath becomes shallow. When you are peaceful, your breath naturally becomes slow and deep. So instead of fighting thoughts directly, the Rishis used breath and sound together. When you chant a mantra slowly, your breathing becomes rhythmic. The exhale becomes longer, the body receives a signal that it is safe. In daily life, you can test this. Before an important meeting, before a difficult phone call, or after a stressful argument, sit for 1 minute and repeat a simple sound slowly with your breath. You will notice that the mind begins to settle. Modern psychology also recognizes that slow breathing can support relaxation and emotional regulation. Mantra adds one more layer: sound. Breath gives rhythm, sound gives focus, repetition gives stability. Together, they create a bridge between body and mind. In the body, there is an important nerve called the vagus nerve. It is connected with relaxation, digestion, heart rhythm, and the calming side of the nervous system. Now, we should be careful. Mantra is not magic, and we should not make exaggerated claims. But many meditation researchers suggest that humming, chanting, and slow vocal sounds may support relaxation by affecting breath, vibration, and the nervous system. Think of the sound Om. When you chant it slowly, you feel vibration in the chest, throat, face, and head. This vibration is not imagination, it is physical. In daily life, even humming a tune can calm people. A mother hums to a baby, people hum while working. Singers feel emotional release through sound. Sound has a body effect. The Rishis used this natural connection very intelligently. They turned sound into a practice. So when you chant a mantra, you are not only using belief, you are using breath, voice, vibration, attention, and emotion together. Every human being has an emotional engine inside. Fear, anger, anxiety, jealousy, sadness. These emotions can rise very quickly. For example, one negative message on your phone can disturb your whole mood. One argument in the morning can spoil your entire day. One small financial worry can keep repeating in the mind at night. When emotions become strong, logical thinking becomes weak. You know you should stay calm, but the body reacts first. The Rishis understood that emotions cannot always be controlled by logic alone, so they used mantra as a calming rhythm. When you repeat a mantra, your attention moves away from emotional reaction and comes back to sound. The mind gets something steady to hold. Breath slows down, the body begins to soften. This does not mean emotions disappear instantly, but the grip becomes weaker. Mantra creates a small gap between stimulus and reaction, and in that gap, wisdom can enter. That gap is the beginning of self-control. Modern psychology often talks about mind wandering and rumination. Rumination means thinking the same negative thought again and again. In daily life, this happens constantly. You're trying to sleep, but the mind replays a conversation. You're eating, but the mind thinks about tomorrow's problem. You are with family, but the mind is somewhere else. Some researchers connect this mind wandering with a brain network often called the default mode network. In simple language, this is the mind's background story maker. It keeps producing me, my problem, my future, my past. Mantra practice gives this story maker less space. When you repeat one sound with attention, the mind has less room to create endless stories. This is why after chanting, many people feel lighter, not because all problems vanished, but because the mental noise reduced. Imagine your mind like a browser with 50 tabs open. Mantra slowly closes unnecessary tabs and brings you back to one clear page. That page is presence. The brain can change with repeated practice. This ability is called neuroplasticity. In simple words, what you practice again and again, your brain becomes better at doing. If you practice complaining, complaining becomes easy. If you practice distraction, distraction becomes easy. If you practice calm attention also becomes easier. This is why mantra is powerful as a habit. Suppose every morning you spend 5 minutes repeating a mantra calmly. At first, the mind will run away many times, but that is not failure. Every return is training. Just like a road becomes clear when many people walk on it again and again, a mental pathway becomes stronger when you practice it daily. Over time, the mantra becomes associated with peace. Even hearing it once can remind the mind to slow down. The Rishis understood habit deeply. They knew that liberation is not created by one big emotional moment. It is created by daily inner discipline. Small repetition becomes deep transformation. Ancient Indian thought describes 4 levels of speech: Vaikhadi, Mavyama, Pashanti, and Para. Vaikhadi is spoken sound, the words we say out loud. When you chant a mantra aloud, you are at this level. Mavyama is mental speech, the sound inside the mind. When you silently repeat a mantra without moving your lips, that is closer to Mavyama. Pashanti is a deeper intuitive level, where sound is no longer just a word. It becomes feeling, vision, and awareness. Pada is the deepest level, pure silence before sound appears. This may sound complex, but daily life gives a simple example. Before you speak, there is first an intention. Before intention, there is a feeling. Before feeling, there is silent awareness. The Rishis use mantra to travel backwards, from outer sound to inner silence. So mantra begins as something you chant, then it becomes something you feel. Finally, it leads you to the silence behind all thoughts. That silence is the real destination. Many people think mantra practice requires a cave, a forest, or a perfect spiritual lifestyle. But the truth is, you can begin today, exactly where you are. You can practice for 5 to 10 minutes in the morning, before sleeping, before work, or after a stressful situation. Sit comfortably. Keep your spine relaxed but straight. Take a slow breath. Choose one mantra or sacred sound. Repeat it slowly. Do not rush. Feel the sound. Listen to it. Let the breath and sound move together. When thoughts come, do not fight them. Simply return to the mantra. This is very practical. A student can use it before exams. A business person can use it before a meeting. A driver can use it after traffic stress. A parent can use it after emotional exhaustion. The purpose is not to become perfect. The purpose is to return. Every day the world pulls your mind outward. Mantra brings it inward. That inward return is your inner anchor. The journey of mantra is not only about sound, it is about silence. In the beginning, the mantra is loud. You hear your own voice. Then it becomes soft. Then it becomes mental. Then slowly, the space between 2 repetitions becomes more noticeable. That space is silence. And this is the beautiful secret. The Rishis used sound to reach silence. In daily life, we usually use sound to escape silence. We play music because we feel lonely. We scroll videos because silence feels uncomfortable. We keep talking because stillness feels empty. But the Rishis discovered that silence is not empty. Silence is full of awareness. Mantra helps us enter silence safely. It gives the restless mind a path. First sound, then rhythm, then attention, then stillness. Modern meditation research may describe this as attention training or emotional regulation. Ancient wisdom described it as self-mastery. Both point toward one truth. When attention becomes intentional, life becomes clear. Silence is not weakness. Silence is power under control. So what was the real secret of the Rishis? They did not use mantras only for ritual. They used mantras as a science of inner mastery.
They understood that the mind repeats something all the time. If we do not choose the repetition, the world chooses it for us. Advertisements repeat desires. Social media repeats comparison. Fear repeats insecurity. Anger repeats pain. The Rishis gave humanity a different repetition: sacred sound. A mantra gives the mind a higher pattern. It turns attention from chaos to clarity, from fear to faith, from distraction to presence. In daily life, this means you can pause before reacting. You can breathe before speaking. You can return before breaking down. You can become the master of your inner atmosphere. The world may remain noisy. Responsibilities may remain. Problems may remain. But your relationship with the mind can change. And that is the beginning of freedom. The Rishis did not use mantras to escape the mind. They used mantras to master it. Master your mind. Subscribe for more inner science.